Hey friends, Sleepy here, and welcome to another episode of the Weekly Playlist. It's Friday, so I'm going to share with you guys the games I've been playing during this week. Sadly, I have to go back to work today in a few hours. I have to get back to work, which sucks. I've really been enjoying my time off with my last vacation of the year. Got to play a lot of wonderful games this week, got to sleep in, got to relax, got to do a lot of game hunting, got to spend time with the wife and son. Got to visit my parents, have dinners and stuff, and it just, was a really enjoyable time. It just always goes by so quickly. I did have to cut a couple days off of this one just because our store has been so busy. So the store is actually going to make it up to me by giving me a little mini vacation right before Thanksgiving. I'm going to have that Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday off. So I'm looking forward to that. Having a few more days off and getting back into the grind of work and how busy we are. Now we're getting towards the holiday season here, and it's going to get really busy at work and just going to be crazy. So I enjoy these vacations. They help me recharge and relax so that I can continue working there and put up with the craziness because, I do work with the general public, and anyone that works with them can tell you it can be very stressful at times dealing with people. And so that's why I enjoy these vacations because they help me sit back and relax. So we'll get started here with the games we've been playing this week. Now, I did just get that Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order game for the Xbox One, but I'll discuss that in next week's episode when I play the game more. I'll give you guys my thoughts and opinions on it because I did not have a whole lot of time to put in it this week, so I'm going to talk about that next week. But we will start off with the games I have been playing this week on vacation, and first one I played for the Xbox One is Titan Quest, and I've been playing this since I picked this up, it was last April, so over a year now. I'm currently halfway through this game. So this is a top-down isometric action RPG game, similar to Baldur's Gate, your Diablo games, where you have the view top-down, but you can use the camera and you can zoom in really close to your character, or you can zoom it really out. So you do have control of the camera compared to most games where you just have a couple different little settings. This one you can really zoom in or zoom out, and you can choose how close you like the camera. I like to have it about midway through. I like to be able to see the environment, but I also don't want to be so far out that everybody looks like little tiny ants. So I do like to have it a little zoomed in, and it's a wonderful game. Now, this originally did not have localized couch co-op, but they have added that in a update to the game last year, so that's really nice. But you can also play with up to 6 people in a match, which is really cool. So you can go through the world with 6 of you, which I have not played with anybody more than one person. When my buddy Jeff comes over, we occasionally play this together. So I'm not sure how the online is, how awesome it would really be, and how much more difficult the game is. But I'm really enjoying the story in this game. So basically, the Titans have escaped. They're battling with the gods, and so the gods need a hero, which is you, to get the world back in balance and defeat the Titans and restore the world and the gods to their proper place. And it's really fun. There's a lot of different classes you can play as. You can be a mage, you could be you can be a sorcerer, a conjurer, you could be a warrior, you could be a thief. There's a bunch of different ways to play with different characters. You can level up yourself with different abilities, and actually have 2 main abilities that you can choose from, that you can specialize in. And I have 2. One was I can have undead magic, so I have a lich that I can summon, but I also have a fire magic type that I use, and I can summon a fire golem. So I'm a little combination of those 2. And the game considers me a conjurer because I use my pets so much, because they really, really help you in the game. I've been leveling them up. I got both of them leveled up max, and they do definitely help me because my character is not very heavy on melee damage because I'm a wizard, so I use staves and shoot magic out. So I'm all about ranged, and those 2 pets really help me because there are some difficult spots. Fairly easy game, but there are some difficult times, and those 2 really, really assist me, and I'm really loving this game, and I think you guys should give it a try. It's a really cheap title now. You can get this used for $10. It had a pretty small print run, but I'm still occasionally seeing copies. You can get online and see them for around $10 as well. You can also download a digital copy, but I don't know what the digital costs. I mean, it was originally $30, so it might still be. If it is, I'd say get a nice used copy on eBay. This is a remake of an old 2006 PC game that they ported last year to the Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and Nintendo Switch. And they redid the controls and everything to work with controllers, and it does control really well. And like I said, if you're a fan of the Diablo type games, you like that isometric top-down action RPG game, give this one a try. It has a great story. There's a lot of loot in it. The voice acting is done really well, and it does have an enjoyable story. And I really love the game, and I think you guys should try it out. So check that out. I also been playing a lot of Dreamcast this month, so this has been a Dreamcast month. I've had some months where I was playing the NES, the PlayStation 2, the Xbox a lot, the 360. Well, this month I've been playing a lot of Dreamcast, especially this week. I've just been in a mood to play Dreamcast, so we'll start off with the first one I've been playing Dreamcast. I'm continuing my work on Tokyo Extreme Racer. I am still stuck with just the 60 guys I beat. I kind of got a little discouraged. I'm worried that I put so much money into this first starting car that I might not actually be able to save money up for a new car and upgrade it. So I got a little discouraged. I haven't played this one as much, but it is still a very fun game. And I definitely think you guys should try it out. If you've never played the very first Tokyo Extreme Racer game, you definitely should try it out because this is where you can see the roots. It's just very bare bones, basic racing game. It was a launch title for the Dreamcast, and it's not as in-depth as later releases are in the series. Once you get into like the ones on PlayStation 2, then you get a lot more customization, you get a lot more cars, you get a lot more enemies, you get a much larger map, but it's still really fun to go back and check out the roots of the series and how the first game is. It's a wonderful game, has really cool music. You have about 140 enemies to defeat. Like I said, I beat 60, so I'm about halfway done with the game, and I've been having a blast with it. I just got, like I said, got a little discouraged because of the car, so I don't know, I may have to eventually restart the game, but I am going to probably put this one on hold for a little bit as there's a new one I'm playing, which we'll talk about at the towards the end of this video, but really suggest you guys check out Tokyo Extreme Racer. A very fun early racing game for the Dreamcast, arcade racer. You're not going to get realistic, Forza or Gran Turismo control because it's an arcade racer, but it's still very fun, and you guys will really enjoy yourself with it. So definitely think you guys should check out Tokyo Extreme Racer for the Dreamcast. And then next up, Mortal Kombat title here. Wanted to play some more Mortal Kombat Gold. I remember getting this game a long time ago for the Dreamcast. Such a wonderful title. This was another one of the launch titles for the Sega Dreamcast, and I really enjoyed it then. I had not played it in a while. I wanted to pop it in again and try it out, and it's just as I remembered, except I don't remember the freaking fatality anymore, so I don't remember those. It feels a little clunky nowadays, especially if you guys have played any of the more modern Mortal Kombats. Going back to these old 3D Mortal Kombat Gold can be a little disorienting, a little odd, playing the controls. But, it's still an enjoyable Mortal Kombat game. You have 20 characters in it. And this is basically like the special edition version of Mortal Kombat 4 that was only released on the Dreamcast. So you got some little extra content and stuff. And overall, I played through as Raiden and went through a little thing and beat his story, got his little saw his little story ending and everything. And the one thing I really loved when I first played this game is when you find out who the mid boss is before the final boss, that is Shinnok. You get to see that they brought Goro back, so I thought that was really cool and seeing in 3D. Now, of course, the character models, they look a little blocky and kind of square looking just because it's such an older game, but it still was fun and enjoyable. Brought back a lot of memories of Mortal Kombat Gold, and definitely one I think you guys should try out for the Dreamcast. Fairly cheap title around here. I've seen them going for like $10 to $20, but it is fun if you want to try out an old Mortal Kombat. Just know though, it doesn't control as well as like your new Mortal Kombat. So if you're used to the ones on Xbox One and PlayStation 4 and those visuals with the Pro and the Xbox One X, you're not going to get that with a Dreamcast, but it's still a really enjoyable Mortal Kombat game, and I think you guys should try it out. It's pretty cool. Next up, here's another one that I had not played in years. was started playing it, and I actually did go through and 100% and just beat the game, and that was Dino Crisis for the Dreamcast. Now they had released this on the PlayStation 1 as well. So this is from Capcom. So they basically, this plays just like Resident Evil games, where you have the third person perspective. You have the fixed camera, the backgrounds and everything, and basically replace all the fighting of zombies and stuff with just dinosaurs. So it's a survival horror game, and it is a fantastic game. I actually beat this game. I beat it in less than 6 hours. I forgot how short the game is, but it was still an enjoyable game. Really enjoyed the story. So you play as Regina, and you're a team with Rick and Gail, and you're here to retrieve a scientist named Dr. Kirkman, because he created a new energy source, and you need to retrieve him and the information about that. And as you explore through this island and facility, you find out that it's actually inhabited by dinosaurs, and there are raptors. There are another version of raptors, they have a little color on them, red or blue, and they're much stronger. And then there's these weird dinosaurs that are bigger, that have giant claws, which are difficult and are annoying. You also have these pterodactyl enemies that fly around that can pick you up and carry you, and you have to fight to get off. And then there's also really cool is there's a T-Rex in the game who, throughout the game, will constantly follow you, and there's some little things you have to do to battle him. And he's actually the final boss in the game, which is really cool. There's also 3 different endings in the game, where you can choose to either side with Gale, or you can choose to side with Rick, or then there was a third secret ending, which I actually discovered as a kid. No strategy guides, nothing else. Just something said, hey, what if I go to this other room and go to a different route instead of doing this? Because I had beaten the game at that point twice, and I went for a third time. I was playing on a harder difficulty, and I'm just like, what if I go a different way? And that's how I actually discovered this secret ending. I actually have a strategy guide now, which I used while I was playing this game, just because I had forgotten so much of the game. But it was a really enjoyable time. Absolutely loved it. I love the little puzzles they have in the game. I just love these old style games. You have to conserve your ammo in these type of games, unless you play it on easy. If you do play it on easy mode and not normal, you don't have to worry about as much resource management, because there's not as many enemies and they die quicker and stuff. But it can kind of take away from the fun. But if you're not into the heavy amount of having to resource management, then I would suggest playing it on easy. But just absolutely had a blast with this game. And I started playing okay, I'll just play it an hour. Wife's working on dinner, we're getting it soon. And next thing you know, the wife's coming in are you ever coming out for dinner? And I'm like, yeah. I was just playing for a little bit. She's like, it's been 4 hours already. So I geez, I lost time playing this game. I remember doing that. Just we would get lost in a game, and I just got lost. I just kept playing more, and oh, just a little bit more, a little bit more. Next thing you know, 4 hours passed. So ate dinner. Then after I was done eating, I came back and finished and beat it and had fun with it. So I got that secret ending. So I do want to go back again, and I'll play it through and get the other 2 endings, just so to see the difference, because I have not seen them in a long time. But it's a really fun game. So if you guys like the Resident Evil style of game, third person survival horror game, resource management stuff, and you've never played Dino Crisis, give it a try. It's a really good game. I do suggest the Dreamcast version, only because the graphics look better than they do on the PlayStation 1. They're much more polished, they look better. And if you have the I don't know if this one actually is compatible with the VGA, but I'm assuming if you have the VGA adapter, it'll look really good. I mean, even with just using the AV cables on my HD TV in the bedroom, it still looked really good for the visuals, and I absolutely had a blast with Dino Crisis. I do have Dino Crisis 2 on the PlayStation 1, so I'm thinking I'm going to pop that in soon, because I have not played that one in a long time either. But this is a wonderful game. I think you guys should try out for your Sega Dreamcast or PlayStation 1. Next up, we got another Dreamcast game, which I had not played this one in a long time. It had been years, and that was Silver. Now, mine's missing a manual. This currently in there. But this is a really cool little action RPG early title for the Sega Dreamcast. You do have pre-rendered backgrounds, and you control little characters, so there are some times the camera will be way stretched out, and the guys look little tiny little ants in the background. But it's a really fun story. So I'll just read here real quick for you guys about it. So Silver A corrupt and sinister sorcerer rules the land of Yarrow with an iron fist. He and his henchmen have abducted the village women as part of a pact with the almighty god Apocalypse. Now only one man can put a stop to Silver and his minions, and it's you, David, a promising young knight determined to save his beloved wife. So you play as David, as a knight. They capture your wife, and then you try to save her. You start out the game with your grandfather, who teaches you at the beginning how to fight with the sword, and you can get a shield and everything and block. And then the story just progresses from there. Now I always got to like a certain point in the story, and then I never progressed further, and then I would put it away, and then I'd play it again and start all over again. And I wanted to finally beat this game and play it through because I never got to fully enjoy it. And so that's what I have been doing this week. Been playing a little bit every day for a while now, putting a few hours in, and I'm really enjoying this game. And I forgot that there's actually more characters that you recruit as you play the story, which is really cool because I now have 3 characters that I can control, and I really, really enjoy this game, and I think you guys should try it out. Just have to warn you though, the prices on this thing have really gone up. It's like a $20, $30, $40 game online. Locally, I have not seen another copy because I want to get a manual at least for this copy, or if I have to, I'll just buy another copy. But I really want a manual. I haven't had one for years, and that's what I've been after. And I went online just to check out, like, hey, let's maybe I can get a manual for a couple bucks. No, it's become an expensive game. But I think you guys should track it down and check it out because it is a fun little action RPG. There's different magic abilities you can get. There's different weapons you can find. There's magical weapons. Like the first magical sword I have has ice attacking powers, which is cool, so you can use that against fire demons. But I know that there are ice demons and other different enemies that are affected by different magic, which you can unlock. And then you also have different characters you can recruit, and they all have their own strengths and weaknesses. And you can create your party. I believe you can have up to 4 characters at once, but there's more than 4 in the game now. I've only am far enough in the story that I have just 3 characters recruited total, my main David and the other 2. But it's a really cool game, and I think you guys should try it out. It's very enjoyable, early game for the Dreamcast, and it's really fun, and the graphics are still pretty cool with the pre-rendered graphics, and you have the little sprite. It's kind of like the first of its kind type of thing, for at least for the Dreamcast. And this was also on the PC, but it was reworked to work on the Dreamcast, and it is a enjoyable game. It says that there's where is it on here? Travel through hundreds of beautiful but dangerous locations, which is really cool. Now, early on the game, there's a little like fort that you'll go through, and there's actually 2 merchants there, which are very key for the game because they sell weapons and stuff. But the one guy sells food, apples, carrots, bread, cheese, and you can use those food items to heal yourself because the enemies can get tough in the game and you'll lose health, and you want to keep healing yourself, and they're really cheap to buy. And enemies will drop items, they'll drop food and health potions and stuff. But those are really key to remember where they're at, because as you get to a certain point in the game, one of the rebel guys will give you a map, and you can actually fast travel to anywhere you've been before, and you can go right back there and buy stuff whenever you need it. So that's a handy tip. Also, there's this little like flying gnome dude periodically you'll see as you play, who will let you save your progress. And I suggest anytime you find that guy, that you save, because if you die, you have to go back to when you save, and if you didn't save 2 or 3 parts and you got really far in the game, you die, you're gonna have to do it all over again. So I suggest that you save whenever he appears. Now at the rebel camp, he is always there, so you can always fast travel back to him and save your game if you like, oh, I gotta stop playing, I gotta do something else, or I'm tired or something, and you don't like, man, I don't want to lose all this progress I did. You can always fast travel back to him in that camp and save. So that's a nice little tip for you guys. Once you get that map unlocked, then you can go there and save anytime you want to. But it is a very enjoyable game. It has a really good story. The voice acting is done really well. It has really interesting characters, and I can't wait to beat this one. I'm not sure how long the game is, so I might be playing this one for a while, but I suggest you guys check out Silver for the Sega Dreamcast. Wonderful game. And then the last one we're going to talk about for the PlayStation 2, I actually picked this up here on my vacation. It was $5. I've been looking for another copy because mine has been buried in storage, and that is Tokyo Extreme Racer 3 for the PlayStation 2. And this one is in amazing condition. It's like brand new, just in my PS2 right now, and I've been playing this one. Ever since I started playing Tokyo Extreme Racer Zero, I just was been in the mood. I wanted to play number 3. I already owned a copy, but like I said, it's been buried in storage, and I don't feel like digging out hundreds of boxes to find it. So I figured I'd look for a title. None of my local stores have had a copy, and then I found one that was about 45 minutes away. I hadn't been to that store in several months, and when I went there, I saw they had a copy for $5, and in such great condition, I had to pick it up. Now, this is the best in the Tokyo Extreme Racer series that I've played this year. Is definitely would suggest Tokyo Extreme Racer 3. This has the most customization for your car, so you can really adjust the suspension, the tires, the transmission, gear ratios, the height of your vehicle. You can change the way it looks, spoilers, wheelbase, the engine, everything. You can really change stuff up. It also has like 200 miles of track. It has the largest amount of highways that you can race in. It actually has more than just Tokyo. It has 2 other areas. This also has licensed vehicles this time, so Genki actually paid for licensing to use real cars, because the previous games in the series had the real cars. They just had like the chassis as code, or whatever that's called, that was the actual like technical code name for the cars is what they used. This time they actually tell you what the real cars' names are because they have them licensed. So you have stuff from Nissan, Toyota, GM, Ford, Mercedes-Benz, and Volkswagen. And another thing that's really cool is you actually have 600 rivals in this game. So, like the first one on the Dreamcast, we talked about earlier, that one had like 140 guys. You get to, I don't remember Tokyo Extreme Racer 2 how many they had, just because I haven't played that in a long time and I don't have a copy. But you get to Tokyo Extreme Racer 0, and that one I think has like 300 some enemies. But this one actually has 600, so this has the most amount of guys. So you're just in a game that's going to take quite a while to play. Currently, right now, I have a Nissan. It was a 300Z car, and I'm really enjoying it so far. And I forgot how like different the game feels. Like they overhauled the visuals, they overhauled the user interface, and just the graphics and everything have been really improved. The engine sound, everything in this game, and this is absolutely my favorite in the game series. Now, we do have Import Tuner Challenge on the 360, which I have not played in a while, so I don't remember a whole lot about that one as far as how in-depth it is. But if you want a really good one, I suggest Tokyo Extreme Racer 3. If you only want to play just one, you want to play the whole series, I suggest then just get Tokyo Extreme Racer 3 for PlayStation 2. You'll be really happy with it and really enjoy this arcade racer. It's wonderful. All the same enemies are in this game, plus they've added more. So you have the rolling guys, which I noticed that, and I actually didn't ever pay attention to this when I was a kid and younger. That there's a lot of the same people in the games. Like rolling guys in all the games, so they're back again in this. But there's a lot of new added rivals in this. And a really nice thing I like is that when you defeat certain rivals, you will unlock new parts for your car. You'll also unlock new cars when you beat the different gangs around. So you have the roaming gangs or clubs, like the rolling guys, an example. You have 6 guys in it, and once you beat the 5 regular members, then their leader will challenge you, and you beat him. You actually unlock his car that you can then buy in the shop, and then you also can unlock parts, because it's very key in this game that you unlock parts and you get new vehicles and you upgrade and constantly upgrade your vehicles, because that's the only way to stay competitive. You go around the highways in Japan. There is traffic around that you'll race around, and then there'll be racers, your rivals, and they'll have an R above their head, which lets you know that that is a racer. And on the map, you can see where the different enemies are positioned. If they're white, you haven't raced them before. And if they are green, it means you've defeated them. If it's red, it means you lost to them and you need to re-challenge them again in order to defeat them. And it's a really enjoyable game, and as you play more enemies and you beat more of them, you'll unlock more of the highways to race on, and it's a really fun, enjoyable series. The races can be really fast and real quick over, or they can take a while, because once you initiate a race, you both have an SP bar, and The whole point is to get ahead of the opponent and drive as fast as you can. And the further far you are ahead, your enemy will have his health bar drained, which is the SP bar, spirit bar, and whoever's bar is depleted first is a loser. And then when you win, you unlock credits, and you use those credits to unlock upgrades for your vehicle, and level up your vehicle and make it stronger, because these guys are really difficult. Your stock car can beat the first like 5 or 6 guys, but after that, the enemies get really tough. And as you get really far into the game, you're gonna get to like the 600th guy. Like, you're gonna need the best car in the game and maxed out just to even compete. And even then, it'll be really hard. But it's a fun, enjoyable racing series. I think you guys should try out. Like I said, if you are looking to only play one of these games, you don't want to get them all, which I suggest getting all of them because they're all fun to play, then just get Tokyo Extreme Racer 3. Such a wonderful game for the PlayStation 2. I'm having a blast with it, and it's absolutely my favorite in the Tokyo Extreme Racer series. Is number 3 on the PS2, and I'm so happy to have it in the collection, and I think you guys should definitely give this one a try because you will not be disappointed, especially if you like racing games. And this is basically like an RPG racing game. You save your progress. The quest mode is where this game really shines. You can have quick races and time trial and stuff, but the quest mode, the story mode on this is where the game really shines, and that's what you guys should check out. So we'll do our quick little recap here of the games I played this week. We talked about Titan Quest. It's a top-down action RPG. Really wonderful game. I think you guys should try out. A lot of customization. You can play with 6 players online. They have added local co-op, which is really fun to play with a buddy. Has a great story, good voice acting, and that's a title I think you should check out. We talked about the original Tokyo Extreme Racer for Dreamcast. This is where the series transitioned from Tokyo Highway Battle into the Extreme Racer series and really started defining itself. It is the most bare bones version of the series, though, since it's how it started out. So if you play the later ones, go back to this one, you might be a little disappointed in the amount of enemies, the customization, and the track, but still a very enjoyable title for the Dreamcast. I think you should try out. Was the launch racing game, one of the launch titles for the Dreamcast, and it is fun. We also talked about Mortal Kombat Gold, one of the early 3D Mortal Kombat games. This is basically like the special version of Mortal Kombat 4 that was on the PlayStation 1 and Nintendo 64. Very fun game. Little blocky controls, though. So I mentioned that if you've played the newer ones today, of course, you go back, you can't expect this to compete with that, but it's still enjoyable, and it was a fun little game. The graphics look a little quirky now, but it was still cool to try out. And if you've never played it, try it out. It was definitely an interesting game. It got a lot of hate when it was first released, but I always enjoyed it, and I thought it was an enjoyable Mortal Kombat game. If you're a fan of the series, check out Mortal Kombat Gold for Dreamcast. We also talked about Dino Crisis for the Sega Dreamcast, which you can also get this on the PS1. Plays just like Resident Evil. It's from Capcom. It's basically like Resident Evil, but with dinosaurs. Has an enjoyable story. 3 different endings. You can beat it in less than 6 hours. You can actually beat it under 3 hours, which if you do that, you can unlock stuff, but you got to really rush through the game. If you want to just enjoy yourself, you're looking at about a 5-6 hour game. Very wonderful game. You can play it on easy, or you can play it on normal. If you play it on normal, it's much more difficult, and you have to really challenge yourself and resource management. You can also play like on a hard mode. Once you beat normal, you can unlock a hard mode. That's even crazier, more difficult. The dinosaurs and stuff have more health. Puzzles are more complicated, that kind of thing. But definitely would suggest you guys check this out. You can get it for Dreamcast or PlayStation 1. Very fun game. We also talked about Silver, which this is an early action RPG. It has pre-rendered backgrounds with your character that you can control. Hack and slashing, you can get different weapons, different shields. You can get magic weapons to use. You can get magic abilities and shoot fireballs, acid damage, stuff like that. It's a really fun game. You start out as just David with his grandfather, but as you play through the story, you unlock more characters, and you can choose your party with a variety of different characters that have different strengths and different weaknesses. There's some that are mages, some that are warriors, archers, that kind of thing, and it is an enjoyable game. One that I would like to beat, because I never did beat it as a kid. I always got to a certain point and then stopped playing and then started over, and it's one I'm looking forward to beating, and I suggest you guys check out Silver. Just be warned, though, that's like a $30 game now, so online at least, so maybe you could find it cheaper at one of your local stores. But if you ever get a chance to, check out Silver. It's a fun little action RPG for Dreamcast. And then the last title we talked about was Tokyo Extreme Racer 3 for PlayStation 2, my favorite in this series. has the most customization, has the most rivals, the most cars and everything, and looks really beautiful and controls well, and is a fantastic arcade racer that is still fun to play today, and you can get a ton of hours in this. Just know that it is a grindy game, especially if you play the story mode. You are going to play hundreds of races throughout the game and run around the track and stuff in order to unlock stuff, but it is still fun and enjoyable. So if you guys have played any of these 6 games that I mentioned today, please let me know. I'd also like to hear the games you guys have been playing recently. You guys have shared some cool games you're playing. If you guys have suggestions for a game you think I should check out, please let me know. I'm always looking for a new game to try out, some new experiences. And like I said, next week we'll talk about the brand new Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order game that just came out today. Pretty cool game. I'll let you guys know my thoughts next week. I want to thank you for watching. Take care. Have an amazing day. And Sleepy, we'll see you guys next time.